Hey everybody, Charles Barber here, founder and formulator of Crucial 4. And today I get to speak to you guys about my personal favorite product, a flagship product at Crucial 4. And if you don't know it, it is mBreakfast. And I've got it right here. This is my personal bag. And I really love telling a story about mBreakfast, and it's something that is near and dear to my heart, and it's what started it all. It's what started the company. You know, when I first started finding out about how our food system and supply chain had been basically tampered with, how our farming system had completely shifted, how there's, chemical agriculture, big ag, how our environment is loaded with toxicity, and again, this was like when I was like 19, 20 years old. And so when I found all this out, I started researching and I started finding out about Kirlian photography. And I actually found a picture of a piece of cacao under a Kirlian field. And I had this epiphany go off, because back then I was eating the standard American diet and I probably ate healthier than most. But as you guys know, when you go off to college, you tend to really make shortcuts, and I definitely wasn't cooking my own food. And so whenever I saw this field, this energy field of this speck of cacao, an epiphany had happened. And I thought to myself, holy moly, I've been eating nothing but dead food. I need to be eating more of these types of superfoods, if you will. And I started to look up where cacao came from. I found out that it was also known as chocolate, and I love chocolate. But the chocolate I had been eating was nothing for what I was seeing under that Kirlian field. And so I started to travel to South America. I got connected with amazing human beings who showed me the ropes, who showed me how this specific type of cacao, the cacao that we offer at Crucial 4, Arriba Criollo, which is actually, we get it from about 30 different parcels all over Ecuador and a little bit in Peru, how this was a staple food in these diets of these indigenous, how it was used for currency, how it was the #1 food source of magnesium, iron, chromium of any foodstuff in the world, how it was one of the highest antioxidant foods in the world, how it's contained 7 different type of phenethylamines, anandamide, a bliss cannabinoid, endorphin. All these things blew me away when I went down to South America and started learning about this sacred noble food that I had been eating a processed, washed version of my whole life. And as soon as I experienced that food, and I actually had it mixed in a shamanic formula, which is actually the base formula of mBreakfast, which has never changed. I had it mixed with Ashwagandha, Macuna, water, and cacao. And holy moly, it did something to me. It made me feel so alive, so alert, so well. My heart space was opening up. And I thought to myself, holy moly, no wonder this food has been hidden from us for so long. I had this calling, this heartstring pull to bring this to the people in America, to bring this to my community, first and foremost, to bring it to my friends. And wow, what it's done for us all. And, I've integrated so many more herbs inside mBreakfast, but that's the original story. That's how it all started, is I took this basically shamanic formula, South American shamanic formula, because when I say shaman, I don't want you guys to think these are witch doctors. That's just what they call doctors down there. These herbalists, if you will, down in South America. This is what they were using. And it really blew me away, again, the effects that I had felt. And, I suffered with depression and kind of a lot of lethargia and low mood, but I ate shit, and I wasn't real driven. I always kind of worked out here and there. But at the end of the day, whenever I put this stuff in my body, it made me feel so awake, so alive, so clear. I felt clairvoyant. It was really kind of strange how this affected me. And again, it just made me want to share it with the world. It was I got so passionate about these types of foods. I started learning about other foods in the Vedic system in India that were used similar to how the cacao is being used. Same with the Taoists, learning about how they use certain herbs that are in here, herbs like Astragalus that are actually inside mBreakfast. All the mushrooms, which we all know and love about, 14 different medicinal mushrooms in here, learning about how those mushrooms create immunomodulation. And then going back to Astragalus, learning about how it builds what's called the Wei Qi, how it can actually help lengthen the telomeres on your DNA, how there's specific compounds inside these foods and herbs that I had never even heard or seen before, nor less my body had. And then when I started consuming these things, how they just started turning things on, how they started allowing me to be able to understand who I truly was. I felt limitless. And it was something that like pushed me to drive myself and to never quit. I see so many people quit out there when they start things. And this was something that when I had it in my diet, I was never gonna quit. And I'm so glad I didn't, even though there was so many times I wanted to, because here we are now, community driven with you guys, and we're so blessed because of you guys. And I know many of you love this blend. And it's just something that, you know, when you look at all the different foodstuffs out there that you can put into your diet, when you look at this idea that a lot of our foods don't have the nutrient density inside of it, this was something that I considered my insurance policy. This was like the thing that I knew if I put in my diet, I was at least getting, you know, some reserves put in, or at least getting foods that still had their integrity. They still had what I call the God print, or the fingerprint of the master architect inside of them. Because a lot of these foods in mBreakfast are wild harvested, which means they haven't been really cultivated. Now, we still do what was known as wild simulated, where we're going and finding these wild genetics, and we're kind of like making sure those genetics can grow and do their proper, you know, do the proper thing that they want to do, and making sure certain things don't overgrow. But we're not going in and like cultivating fields of this stuff. And as you guys know, most chocolate is actually done that way. And as you guys know, most chocolate is loaded with heavy metals and cadmium. But you also guys know that our cacao doesn't. And we show you guys those heavy metal tests so you can actually see that. Learning that cacao is a vasodilator and not a central nervous system stimulant. Because a lot of people think that there's caffeine in cacao, but they don't know what the heck they're talking about. There's no caffeine in cacao. There's theobromine. And theobromine is not a cardiovascular stimulant. It's basically a vasodilator. And a vasodilator kind of helps open you up. You know, our body's like got all these tubes inside of it, and it opens you up, kind of opens up your eyes. And that's exactly what I felt and still feel to this day, 15 years later, when I consume this product. And it's so funny when we have our meetings, our Zoom meetings with our team from all over the nation, and some actually people are from around the world. They're always like, man, you're so lit every time. No, what are you doing? And they see me drinking my shake, you know, and this is always the base to all my shakes. And it goes to show that out of all the testing that I've done on myself, all the blood panel analysis, all the healers, all the people that have looked at me to try to be like, I feel like a lot of times they're like, oh, let's see what's wrong with this guy. They're all blown away. They're all blown away by how healthy that I am, how healthy that my blood is, how healthy that my numbers are, and just my general sense of well-being. And I know that you guys out there that have tried mBreakfast, you feel that. And it's just something that I just really encourage anyone to try out. You know, a lot of people try to mimic these types of blends and try to call them coffee replacements, or they water them down. But at the end of the day, they're using really crappy raw materials, and they just don't work well. And I think a big part of that is because those blends weren't created by herbalists. They were created by just people. Some people are just artists, and then they want to create something. Some people just see a trend of these superfood blends, and they just want to jump on that bandwagon. And they go out and, you know, they just kind of go to some contract manufacturer to make it. But this was something that I literally blended thousands of times in my kitchen to get the right formula. And to understand as an herbalist, working with master herbalists, the yin and yang of herbs. When you start to make herbal blends, it's extremely important that things are balanced, right? We talk about that a lot at Crucial 4. Our motto is nature left alone is in perfect balance. So if you make something that's too much of a stimulant, then a lot of times people will say, oh, it made me feel great, but then they'll crash. But when you make something that's balanced, you have something that can help wake you up, make you feel limitless, but not overstimulating you. And putting you in a place of balance is in a place of nourishment. So it's also nourishing you. And there's herbs in here like Hoshu Wu. There's herbs in here, like I said, like Astragalus, Codonopsis, Astragalus, Ashwagandha, which we know help with stress. Herbs like Macuna. Macuna prurines is one of the top herbs to help dopamine levels. It's got L-Dopa inside of it. It even has a form of DMT inside of it. And a lot of people don't talk about this. There's a form of DMT inside of it that makes this herb actually help you get deeper rest. It's not going to make you trip out. It's not like one of those things, right? But it's an herb that when you combine it with other herbs and you combine it with things like cacao, it has this synergistic effect. And that's what's happening with inside cacaos, or inside mBreakfast, is that the cacao and herbs like salvia, they actually kind of have this synergistic effect. They really help your body uptake the nutrients and absorption. And not to mention, there's colostrum in here, guys. It's the same colostrum we offer. So you know it's grass-fed, it's tested for glyphosate, right? It's undefatted, undenatured, unirradiated. It's the top colostrum in the world. It's inside of here. You guys know with our cacao, it's heavy metal tested. It's got low heavy metals. Not just heavy metal tested, but it's industry low heavy metals. And it comes from cacao trees that are huge. And maybe we can get a picture and show you guys how amazing the journey I was on when I went to actually look at some of these parcels. These cacao trees, or some of these cacao trees, are 200, 300 feet tall. These are mother trees. You know, there's spirulina in here, the type of spirulina we use. Spirulina has phycocyanin inside of it, which can help activate stem cells in the body. But it's nature's multivitamin, guys. Like, this is a food stuff that nature has provided for us that contains 70 to 80 different vitamins and minerals. And now, it's so funny because everyone knows ashwagandha and Macuna, which is in here too, or mainly ashwagandha, right? I won't even say Macuna. But a lot of people don't know about any of those other herbs that I just mentioned. And I'm telling you guys, these are powerful herbs that we've been putting in mBreakfast for over a decade. And boy, do they work. And the main thing that I find that they do for you is they help heal your adrenals. They help heal those energy channels within your body that have been overtaxed. And it's a nourishment that you feel. And it's just so powerful to be able to feed your body these types of herbs, or superior herbs, that can help not only fortify you, but also help kind of build you up, fortify you, but create this like stress defense shield, while at the same time giving you energy, but not overstimulating you. It's a totally different experience than you probably ever have had when you combine these ingredients in the right way with the right raw materials. And again, most of all the herbs inside mBreakfast are wild harvested. You know, a lot of these herbs and foods out there we read about, and we read about how beneficial they are, but then we go and we purchase these things and we don't really notice what we read. And I think a lot of that is because of the real crappy raw materials. A lot of these herbs are over processed, or they're standardized. They're using certain chemicals to extract certain nutrients that they think are the main components to what make those herbs work. But what I learned, and what I'll always stay true to, is nature left alone is in perfect balance. So removing a lot of the processing and just working with the best raw materials that we can is the key. Is the key that allows you to be able to actually feel it. You know, is the key to allow you to actually be able to turn the dial, to move the needle, to be able to say, oh, wow, like I can tell this actually affects the way I feel. This actually affects the way my body's working and the way my organs are working. So it goes to show, you know, the raw materials that you put inside something is, you know, you're going to pay for what you get, right? The spirulina that's in here, the spirulina that we get, it's the same we sell in the mBoost. You guys know and love that product. The black maca and the maca roots that we get, those are wild maca roots, guys. We get a black one and we get a cream one. We put the cream one inside mBreakfast. And if you guys don't know about maca, the synergistic effects with that. And that is actually the original formula. I failed to mention maca in that original formula. It was actually cacao, maca, and ashwagandha, and Macuna, and water. And that's what I had. And it tasted terrible, but it made me lit. But maca root. Maca root is an amazing herb. It grows 14,000 feet in elevation. Nothing is growing up there, guys. And it's supreme adaptogen. Imagine the ability to be able to grow at such a high altitude when the oxygen levels are so low. And it's so crazy because it does that very thing for you. It helps your endurance. It helps your stamina, your vigor. It just makes you feel just strong. You know, it makes you feel powerful. It's an aphrodisiac. And my wife can definitely tell whenever there's no maca in the diet, or / mBreakfast in the diet. And so, again, it's an amazing herb if you have any issues with fertility. I know so many people that I used to work with, they were constantly trying to get pregnant and they couldn't get pregnant. And we would help them with herbs like maca and cacao, or just put them on a little mBreakfast preconception. And every time, worked like a charm. It's so crazy to me. You know, the other herbs inside mBreakfast, like the mushrooms, a lot of us know about, but there's 14 different medicinal mushrooms in here. And it's not just mycelium on grain, it's fruiting bodies and mycelium. Another herb that's inside of here that is super powerful is pine pollen. Pine pollen is a herb that has over 200 bioactive nutrients. Androstenedione, androstone, testosterone, DHEA, all these androgens, all these vitamins, all these minerals. It's a multivitamin in itself. It's inside mBreakfast, guys. So many powerful herbs. And another thing, just to talk about for a second, there's no natural flavors. There's no flavoring in here. We just put salt. We put a little bit of coconut nectar inside there and salt with herbs. We used to put stevia inside of it, and you guys didn't like that, so we pulled it out. And for a long time, I was like, man, people are not going to like the way this tastes. It's kind of has a very herbal taste to it unless you know how to make it. If you're just throwing it in water and shaking it up, I really didn't think people were going to like it. Boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. People actually loved it, and it started selling even more without the stevia inside of it. And I think it's because of the authenticity of the blend. I know it has a lot of ingredients inside of it, but I want to say this again, that this has been built by master herbalists. This blend has been built by master herbalists, and I've just put it together, and I've worked underneath them. And so I don't have some crazy herbal degree, but I've worked with herbs for over 15 years now, and I love this blend. It's something that has stayed in my diet for such a long time. It's loaded with raw materials that you guys know and love, that you can purchase from us as standalones. You can see the quality of those raw materials, and we just combine all that so you guys can have something. We're not going to try to market this blend to you as a coffee replacement, because you know what? It tastes great with coffee, and I like it sometimes with coffee. I also like it with tea sometimes, but my favorite is with raw goat's milk. I love adding this to raw goat's milk. I like adding some fruit, or like something like a banana or some frozen berries inside of it. But what's so amazing about mBreakfast is that it's so versatile. It's one of the most versatile blends in the world. And you can add this to pretty much anything. You can bake with this stuff. You can add it to oats. You can add your overnight oats. You know, that's like a sensation for some people. Yogurt, mixing it in yogurt. Granola, adding it to granola. Making an elixir or a tonic. I make a big 32-ounce shake a day. I'm big on liquid nutrition. It's been something that's been real easy and a staple for me, and a habit that I've created, because I don't have a lot of time to eat during the day. I have time to eat in the morning. I have time to eat kind of mid-afternoon, and have a little bit of time to eat later at night. But in between that, I have to have something that I can put into my body that's going to give me those nutrients, those missing food groups. And that's the other thing. This is the only product that contains all 4 missing food groups, guys. It's right here in mBreakfast. And I know a lot of people have talked about the price of mBreakfast. Actually, not a lot. There's a few naysayers out there. But when I tell you about mBreakfast and I mention all the raw materials from the colostrum, from the pine pollen, go look at how much those products cost as standalones. They're extremely expensive. And that's exactly why this blend is where it's at. I think it's priced very fairly for what you get out of it. We also put certain hemp protein powders inside of here as well. I mean, you guys can read the ingredients. It's got lucuma fruit, yacun. Yacun's a prebiotic. Lucuma fruit is one of the first fruits that baby infants eat. It's loaded with nutrition. The yacun, going back to that, that's a prebiotic. It's like a root substance, and it's something that helps feed your healthy microbiome and your healthy bacteria. And again, like, I think I nailed all the ingredients in this video, and that was kind of a challenge to do, because I didn't even look at all the ingredients 15 years later. I just shot this video, and I find it so amazing that I can be able to regurgitate all that information. But it goes to show how amazing this blend is, how versatile this blend is. And this is a flagship product. I mean, this product is what built Crucial 4. Is right here. When people would come in and they had this issue or that issue, you know, we would be specific on certain supplements for the context of that application of that person. But mBreakfast was always kind of on the backbone or the foundation to their nutritional requirements or needs. Because at the end of the day, we need to be getting vitamins and minerals from foods. And it's really hard for us to absorb nutrients to begin with. A lot of our digestive systems have been hammered. with pesticides. And, you know, that just makes me think Maca has a certain compound inside of it that helps protect you against pesticides. Like it's so crazy. I mean, the list goes on and on. I could probably spend about 2 or 3 hours talking about all the ingredients inside mBreakfast and what each one of them specifically does. But I wanted to shoot this video to kind of give you guys a quick cap, like a recap, a quick cap, or almost a blurb style of some of these raw materials, so that you could actually understand about mBreakfast, learn a little bit about it, and understand that, you know, hey, this might be something I should look at, you know, especially now that we have the 3-ounce bag that, you know, if you're picking up some of our salt or picking up some of our other awesome products, other missing food groups, you could just snag a little small 3-ounce bag and give this a try. I'm telling you guys, it is something that I consume 5 days a week. I don't have every day, but I don't have anything every day. And it's something that I've done that 5 days a week for almost 15 years. And I just love it, and I can't live without it. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I like it here and there. I'm not a big tea drinker, but I like it here and there. But I love mBreakfast, and I can't live without this right here. And I think the mBreakfast is a big part of why I'm not such high, I don't have such a high need for caffeine. And I'm not against caffeine. I'm not anti-caffeine. I'm not sitting here telling you need to switch your caffeine or your coffee for mBreakfast. What I'm saying is just add this in. Add this into your diet. Just by adding these rare herbs, these wildcrafted herbs, mushrooms, algae, colostrum, this amazing cacao into your diet, just adding that in a small amount. You can do a full serving size or a small amount. You will notice the benefits. I guarantee that you will notice the benefits, because this blend has changed thousands of people's lives. And it's the reason why Crucial 4 exists. Because without this, guys, we wouldn't be here. And I know a lot of you guys know and love our salt, but I want to let you know that this is actually what made Crucial 4 was mBreakfast. And this is what I got put on the news for. This is what I've had medical doctors reach out to me for. I've had high-level trainers, specific companies reach out to me to help with their wellness needs. And we always put them on this mBreakfast shake, and everyone seems to love it. You know, so if you haven't tried mBreakfast, you got to give it a try. And we're going to be doing an exclusive offer for you guys. And I'm super excited to be able to do this for you, because what not a better time than to try it and get a discount, especially if you're just going to try the 3-ounce and get a discount on that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned a lot about mBreakfast and what's inside of it. I know there's a lot of ingredients inside of it, but I want you guys to know on the other ingredients that there's no natural flavors, there's no fillers, there's no xanthium gum, there's none of that weird shit that you see in almost every single product, even protein products. I see all types of weird stuff in there. I see so many like whey proteins with agglomerations added to them, like sunflower lecithin or soy lecithin. We don't do that, guys. That's not in here. This is herbs, barks, leaves, roots, beans, cacao bean, right? Nuts, some seeds. There's chia seeds inside here as well. Forgot about that one. And that's it, guys. There's a little bit of coconut nectar inside of it and salt. So it is a full body, undenatured, wild crafted blend that has all the integrity that you deserve and will help your body feel limitless. Just like it's helped my body feel limitless for over a decade. I know it'll help your body as well. And I encourage you guys to try it, especially now that we're giving you guys a discount on it, and give us feedback. You know, I love seeing all the stuff you guys make with our products. So we encourage you guys to blend stuff up, give us recipes. I've seen this thing used thousands of different ways. You know, that's the cool thing about this blend. It's extremely versatile. You have no excuse to not put this into your diet, or at least not to give it a try. And if you love our other products, then you're going to love mBreakfast. It contains all 4 missing food groups. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thanks again. Signing off, Charles Barber, founder and formulator of Crucial 4.